Kids stay watching the movie.
We're back here with another edition of Down and Back Live, and as you can see, we've got the power couple, I'll call them, of Cornhole, Steve and Jenn Vanderver. You'll know them from US Cornhole, their YouTube page or channel. And if anyone's seen my video I did earlier here tonight, I would really need to see their videos because getting 3 on the board out of 8 was not my fun. But Steve and Jenn, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyone who's watching, if you have any questions, comments, leave them in the chat, and we'll get Steve and Jenn to answer them. But starting off, just I know that you guys have both been in the game for a while, but just how long you've been playing, and where'd you get your start?
Well,
A little different.
Yeah, a little different. I've been playing for about 20 years, actually. I started where the game just started out. Really, it was really starting to blow up in the Cincinnati, Kentucky, Indiana area. And very few players. I mean, you're probably the only name you can really relate to at this point would probably be Matt. There really wasn't anybody hardly at that point. That's kind of that's when I got started, basically flopping the bag out there. Didn't know how to throw. I came from playing some horseshoes. I wasn't a spinner in horseshoes, so I just kind of flipped it and quickly realized when I met Matt, which I think Matt had just started. He'd been playing maybe a couple of years. Or no, I don't think it was that. Maybe 1 year. And I quickly learned that I needed to change my throw. And from there, I got in my first tournament, and that was it, man. I got addicted. I didn't like getting beat, and I quickly learned. So, about 20 years for me.
I started in like 2011, I think.
Mm-hmm.
About 2011. I started hearing and playing, and I started going to bigger tournaments and stuff. And then I started hearing about Crystal. All you heard was about Crystal. And then I started hearing about the ACO. So then I just decided I wanted to go play the Queen of Cornhole. So I did. And I got to beat Crystal. And then I was kind of hooked. I was hooked before that, but then after that, I was really hooked.
We met actually right before that.
Mm-hmm.
Right before that, and kind of helped tweak a few things with the wife, which she was a wonderful thrower, just had a little bit of a hot temper, which would take her out of her game. And once she was able to work with that, I tell you what, I mean, we really trained to get her up for that Queen of Cornhole, and she just cleaned house when she went down there.
Yeah. So then I guess now we kind of talked a bit about it off air with getting the family and kind of doing that there. So how do you guys juggle that whole dynamic of family and getting time to play and I know like I said, I've got a 10-year-old. I know yours are a little younger, but yeah, that whole dynamic of that there.
Ooh.
Right?
Well, we have 4 kids. So I have an 11-year-old, 2 4-year-olds, and a 2-year-old. So playing with them is just a no-go. I mean, we have tried, and we're like 0-5 with them.
It's very, very stressful because one of us are getting pulled away when they're at this age. So we gave it a valiant effort, but it just wasn't in the cards. So.
We could practice with them. I mean, they're a good way to practice. I'll tell you that much. Like if you want to try to practice at home and you want to keep your concentration of where it needs to be, well, they're a good way to practice. Letting them run around and go in between your games, and they are a good sense of practice. But as far as taking them to tournaments, we've tried, and it just has not worked out well for us.
So we got to play a few tournaments. Basically,
we play with somebody else. He plays with somebody, or I play with somebody, or one stays with the kids.
The rare incidents where we'll have someone watch the kids, which is really non-existent. We probably only have one person. We don't live around anybody. I mean, the closest relative is like 3.5 hours. So a couple times we've got 2017 championships down there in the Carolinas. We got that's where we had a little getaway. So it's just rare. It's very rare that we get to, but occasionally we'll get somebody who will watch the kids. And I think we've had maybe 3 of those.
Yeah, not very many.
No.
I think we've gotten to go to like 3 or 4.
Yep. The championship, the win on New Year's Eve, and I can't remember another one. But
Yeah, we've gotten a few times where we've been able to get out. Without the kids, we obviously play much better. With the
Well, I was going to say,
hit and miss.
the first time I got to see you guys, didn't get a chance to talk to you, but was Cherokee 2018. I think was a good tournament for you, Steve.
I didn't. Did I?
Oh, that was I played with Lester.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, and I had to play, and that was one of those tournaments where I actually was not supposed to be able to go at all because we didn't have a sitter. Well, we ended up having a sitter last minute, and he already had a partner, so I ended up playing with Jay.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, and he played with Lester. So.
And again, that's
the volume on the TV.
But yeah, so that ended up being, like I said, a really good tournament for you because you ended up getting the win in doubles with Lester.
Yeah, no, it was a good win. Kind of coming back from the year before when the wife and I took second down there. We took first in the co-ed, and then she took first in women's, and luck of the draw, a couple others. I mean, pretty well, did very, very well that weekend. But she, it was nice coming back, being able to get a win after that, because we both of us dropped the ball the year before. We met you. Well, I didn't meet you, but we were down there together, and we had an opportunity to knock Matt and Brett into the losers bracket before getting on stage to play. We had 3 rounds, because I can play them back in my head. Because they had the airmail shots.
One of those you never forget.
And it was like an 18-18 game, and all we had to do is we had to make a tough shot. And I missed it, she missed it, and I missed it again, or vice versa. But either way, there was 3 shots. We had an opportunity to get them out of there, and we dropped the ball. So, but anyway, it was a good coming back the next year and winning. Would have been better with the wife, but because her and I did so well the year before.
Yeah, I think Jen, you almost got as much TV time on that doubles final as Steve did.
Absolutely got more.
Everybody says that. I don't know. I'm just there. I was just there hanging out, watching them. I bet money in the stands. I won money.
Yeah. It's total different people that I was playing with. I mean, Lester's real quiet, easygoing guy, which is great. Wife, she's all upbeat, and I'm looking for that. And I was probably more upbeat that time than I normally am.
Actually, I heard Lester get a little more rowdy than I've ever heard Lester get rowdy.
But either way, good. It was a good win for sure.
Yeah. So then I guess that will lead into another one here. Is just what would be your greatest win, and who would be your top players to play against?
I'll let you start.
My biggest win? Oof. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say like the Queen of Cornhole and the ACL. And my biggest win, I tell you, was when I was pregnant. As everyone says, pregnant, barefoot, and I was on fire in 2000. When we went to the Cherokee, I couldn't miss. I mean, I was just flat out on the whole week. I was on fire. That's probably one of my ones that stand out the most, just because I threw lights out the whole time I was there, and I was pregnant, miserable, tired.
It was you. There was no better thrower other than
I was on fire.
The next closest player that weekend, and everybody talked about it, was the wife and Baldwin. Those
and
two.
Baldwin beat me in singles. So I did good in singles too. I did real good in singles. I got beat by Baldwin, and I think Jordan Lang are the 2 that were first and second or whatever. Those are the only 2 that beat me. And I played quite a few games. And that really stands out just because I felt like I threw probably the best I've ever thrown, ever, for whatever reason. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So,
He's got a lot of big wins. It's Steve Vanderveer.
so whatever. You know, it's actually kind of, it really has nothing to do with those wins. Even that was great winning that with Lester, and it was big. I mean, granted, it was on ESPN, but probably some of the biggest. If the one that stands out in my mind was it was considered a sneaky tournament on a New Year's Eve, $5,000, and it was down in Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, or no,
somewhere.
Vidalia or something like that. It was around the onion patches somewhere, and we went down there on New Year's Eve, got the rare babysitter, and went down, and we were practicing. The weather was cold. It was crappy weather.
It was miserable.
And I can't remember if somebody called or what happened, how that happened. But anyway, Matt, Brett, and Mike Schaefer,
and they came together.
They came and just shook their heads as soon as they walked in and they seen us, and they were like, "Oh my God," you know. It was a one and out tournament, $5,000 for first, $200 for second. That's it.
I don't even think second got 200. I think it was $0.
Really? I don't know. I can't remember.
So when you walk into any place anywhere and you see Matt and Brett and it's first place only, you're wanting to hang yourself. And I don't care who it is. And vice versa, if you walk in and you see us, you just.
But it was good. I mean, it turned out good. We battled back and forth, and I think it went
to wee hours. Those are one of those tournaments that we were talking about that went into.
Started like 5. They planned on getting over early, having a big New Year's Eve bash. They had food, music. It went into the morning.
Mm-hmm.
They did 2 out of 3, and the winners 2 out of 3, and the losers. And of course, when we got to the finals, well, we used almost all the games, even though we beat them pretty good early on. And there was a little split talking towards the end because there was no money for second. So there was a little deviant up there, but we took the bigger chunk. We won the big chunk because we definitely had the number on that night. And I guess the next one, there's only 2 at this point. Well, it was on our anniversary weekend. We did a little tour a night. It was like, I don't know how many tournaments, 6 tournaments. We started in Pennsylvania, went to
we did a loop.
Wildwood, New Jersey, played on the beach for $1,000, and went a couple other places. We went to New York and West Virginia, and people were watching us. They were like, we were wondering if you were going to come. They were like watching us like Santa's going
like
on
a Santa tracker on mine. So
that on the beach, on your anniversary, we won all the tournaments, that we went to traveling around.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And then coming back 2 years to that Wildwood on the beach, we ended up taking it the next 2 years, so it's 3 in a row until finally we couldn't go again. But so I think to me, those were probably my biggest. Always good to week the big guys though, like when you got Matt, and you got Easy, and I mean the list goes on. There's so many good players out there. When you beat them, you feel good. You feel good, period.
So for the ones watching that are newer, Matt and Brett, or Matt, obviously Matt Guy, Brett Guy, who are, and I think, everyone kind of see them from their videos that they put out, that they're just both amazing throwers, and Easy being Eric Zockline, who's another great player as well too. But so I guess the other question is with knowing Matt so well, and with seeing him a couple weeks ago in his quarantine karaoke, think you could be a better singer than him?
Oh my God!
Oh, hands down, hands down. Yeah. Oh, I went to karaoke once, okay, and they threw me for a curve. I requested a song. We were in Canada. It was on that anniversary run because we stopped in Buffalo. We went across. We just hung out there for the falls. We went across to the.
I'm sure the Jack Daniels did not help.
Probably not. They closed that whole area down so early. We're ready to party. So we went out a ways to like a local bar, and they were doing karaoke, and I requested Brown Eyed Girl.
Oh my God! And it was the wrong version.
They did Van Morrison instead of Buffett. And I sang Buffett. The recording played Van Morrison. It wasn't good.
I was dying, and he rocked it out. He played the song all the way through, like nobody was listening. It was funny.
So I just want to recognize a couple of people in the chat here as well too, because we've had some comments. Dwayne Dillard said that he couldn't wait to see the show, as you guys have been very helpful and willing to help him out with some of the stuff that he's needed. As always, I got Ben Coombs, who's my cousin, who's my moderator, helps me out with this chat, as well as Terry's GG&G. And I see that Trevor Huber, who's a local player here, I know he's been saying he's ready to throw bags again. He was one of our top players here, but just some of the people in chat. And like I said, if anyone's got any questions for Steve or Jen, just kind of let them go, because I know they'll be happy to answer anything.
Give me a second. I'm going to turn you guys up a little bit because our kids are being crazy over there. And okay.
So absolutely, and even if somebody sees this afterwards and it's not live, you can always go to the U.S. Cornhole YouTube page, or even to the website, and reach out if you have any questions.
Facebook, we're always available. We always get
that is something we have made time for. And you ask kind of how do we balance it, and now that we're kind of more playing. We practice here at home occasionally, but we've had more time to kind of get behind U.S. Cornhole, help develop some bags, the boards, and of course the tips, tricks, and practice routines. Try to put some more time into that and help out players and give back.
Exactly. I think for me, I've almost started to have more fun doing shows than almost playing at times, because it kind of gets rewarding to help people out and kind of let them, the kind of inner kind of workings of the game itself.
Oh, absolutely. And I think you feel like you're more of a part. You're kind of helping out a little bit, kind of growing the game, helping players, get connected in different ways, like versus how we are. No, I'm going to have to agree. I think I'm actually getting more enjoyment out of this now than I would if I went back to throwing. I would say definitely, yeah.
So now you say that you're helping with the U.S. Cornhole with bags. So I'm going to ask, what's your take on this whole new bag craze? Like I've kind of said before, it's almost like some of these bags are worth more than gold. With what they're going for, it's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, people are buying into. You didn't see the video that I did on that bag 101.
That's what I missed. Yeah, I think I may have bought a piece of that one.
Well, people are, my opinion, people are buying into this as seen on TV type mentality, and it's not just bag players; it's everybody in America does it, but and probably Canada too, everywhere. But I just think it's ridiculous. You can only do so much with a bag. Many of the bags have the same material in them.
Different names, same thing.
There is quite a few different materials out there, but overall, you can only do so much with them. At some point, you're going to have to rely on you as a player to throw the bag straight and have some different abilities to get those points and create different situations on the board.
Yeah, you need to be able to throw different bags anyways. Everybody always gets stuck in one type of bag, or one fast bag, or one slow bag, or you have to be able to throw all types of different bags, conditions, everything. It all goes hand in hand, really. I mean, you have to be able to throw different things.
Exactly, because that's those, as your tournaments go, those boards will change, whether you get more people in the building, less people, just
right on. You hit it right on the nail on the head.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier, is when you're sitting through a tournament and you're there for 7 hours, and then you come to and the lights go down and now it's dark. Those conditions that you played in 7 hours ago are not what you're going to play in now. It's way different. So like a totally different tournament.
So having those different abilities, it was probably more important years ago when you had to play with the bag that the tournament provided. You had to be a very versatile player back then. And now the smart thing for you to do is have a variety of bags with you say 3 or 4 different type of bags for the conditions. And that's what I recommend. You're not going to find, it would be nice to have that one bag for all conditions. It's not going to happen. You've got to have a bag that's going to just be nice and, slick in any kind of conditions. When it gets horribly slow, sticky out, you're going to need that middle of a road. What if it's in the middle of the day when it's nice and sunny? The boards are slick. You need a slower bag. So, I mean, we go now to a tournament. We have at least 3 sets, maybe 3 or 4. That's about it.
Yeah, that's about average.
Because at that point, what are you doing? You're making more confusion for yourself.
Sometimes they may get damp and you just want to switch out in general.
Well, exactly. We've even had like new players come to play in our league nights, and they'll play on a board that's the farthest from the door, and they'll play one way, and then they'll say, I was throwing good down there, but now I can't throw good here. But you're now playing at the board that's right by the door, and that door is opening and closing, and you got the humidity from outside coming in, and you've now at a totally different atmosphere than what there is, 20 feet away.
That reminds me of when we went to the ACL conference in Wisconsin or wherever that was.
Yes.
Oh, you had on one side of the gym, it wasn't even a gym, it was like a barn type thing.
Well, it was an Oktoberfest place. Basically, it was somewhat closed, but it was an outside area where they basically set up everybody to get drunk, basically.
Leaves were blowing in, wind was blowing in on one side. You go down there and it's kind of sticky, and you're in the middle and it's fast as lightning, and down there you got wind. Everyone was different. It felt like that every board was different.
But you just touched on something that you noticed that not everybody picks up on those kind of things. And as a player trying to get, to different levels, noticing that the boards may not be the same, so you can practice in different kind of conditions. Very important to know your different conditions and how to play in them.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I keep bringing back. I won a tournament that was at the Charlotte Motor Speedway last May, and it was on. I camp on the infield for the NASCAR race. So it's on an area. It's called Redneck Hill. So it's actually on a hill. So the boards were on a hill, and for me throwing, if I didn't airmail it, that bag was just going to slide right back down. So it's that whole condition that we're playing in, and I don't have an airmail game at all. So it was like, I don't know how I did it, but it ended up coming through. But it's those conditions that you have to play in and kind of figure it out.
Yep, you have to be able to do it all.
Yep.
In one way, you just got to be able to do it all.
Yep. So, and I touched on like when our new players coming in, what would be your advice for new players that would be just coming in? Because I know with us, our numbers are still kind of growing. So we're down. We're only getting about 20, 22 people out on a league night. So our new players are right in always with our advanced players as well. And they get kind of down if they start losing. But what would your advice be on a new player just coming right in?
You start.
No, I had a thought. The whole time he was asking me this. Oh my gosh, I got it. And then I'm like,
and it's gone.
It's gone. Hold on. I'll be back.
For a new player coming in, I would say
patience and practice.
Practice for sure. It depends on what you want out of the game. I mean, if you just want to go out, have some fun, show up, drink some beers, and not even worry about winning anything, then you just keep doing what you're doing, But if you want to go to another level, I would say you're going to have to put the time in. You're going to have to practice, and you're going to have to practice a lot. And these people, we used to be able to not practice maybe once a week or every other week or something like that and go out and do good. These people play 4 or 5 nights a week in leagues and tournaments all the time. You've got your single people or students and these kids and no families and children. And they play a lot. So you're going to have to put the time in. And kind of one of the things I said in one of the videos a ways back is it's kind of something that I've always lived by is practice doesn't make you perfect. Perfect practice makes you perfect. So just getting out and throwing isn't going to get you to that next level.
You gotta be doing it right.
It may get you a little bit better, but you need to know what to work on and what to correct and how to correct it. And that's where it comes in, a better player around you or close to you, or just that you can communicate with and say, hey, this is an issue I'm having. So you can correct those things that you're having some issues with. That would be one of the top things I would say.
You know what else he said is when he first came on, and you said that the newer players, when they lose, they get, upset, discouraged, even us, when we lose, still, we can win a million tournaments. That one loss still makes us mad or upset, or like we know what we did wrong. You gotta fix it. Even although we've been playing for all these years, when we lose, we still get mad. We still get upset with ourselves. We still beat ourselves up. You just gotta be able to one bag at a time. Literally, this game is one bag at a time. You can throw one bag off, you gotta shake it off, because if you don't, you're gonna do it again. Or you're gonna shortboard because you threw that one off the back and you launched it. You gotta be able to do one bag at a time. One bag.
Yep.
And forget the last bag. Because if you don't, and I do find myself making that mistake all the time, when you're out in the wind and you're throwing and you launched it off the back of the board. Well, now you want to take it off a little bit because of what you just did. And now what are you going to do? Now you're going to shortboard. You just got to find that, like that happy medium. You literally got to just one bag at a time. And there is no other way to do it.
Have a short memory.
That's what he's a very short memory. If you lost Saturday and you play on Sunday, forget all about Saturday. Even if you won, forget about it. It's over. You're here on Sunday,
Exactly. Yeah. That's also the other things that, getting those new people in that they think, oh, you're just throwing a beanbag at a board. It's going to be I can do that. That's easy. Well, come and show us how you can do it, because it's not as easy as what you think. Right. And I talked to it before when I how I had the tournament for my son's hockey team, and all the dads used to always bug me about, oh, you just play cornhole. Come on out and play, and then they did, and they that's a lot.
They have no idea.
No.
There's a lot more skill than people think.
It's not as easy as people think it is.
Well,
not at all.
I made a point. I mean, many years ago. Actually, when we were playing in the ACO. I was talking. There were some players that came down. They had a basketball tournament or some sort. It was down in downtown Cincinnati, and they came out. It was an outside tournament, and they watching this like, oh, this isn't nothing. What are you guys doing out here? This is easy. And I say, watch this for a while. And then I made the point later, after these guys started watching a while, I said, your free throw shot is 15 feet, I believe. I'm not a big basketball fan, but I believe it's 15. I said, take a wild guess how far that airmail shot that guy just made. So that's 30 feet.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game. Granted, what you're throwing with different. You got a forgiving bag. I said, we're talking 30 feet, man. I was like, that is a skill in itself among all the other things that we do. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, it's fun. It's the getting people out, and as soon as they get out to play, the new people go out to play. They're addicted in no time. They want to do it again. Like I said, the 10-year-olds that just every time they see me now, it's like, when are we going to play cornhole again? Well,
even an 11-year-old, that's the same way.
It's just
11 and he loves to play.
Yeah, and it's fun watching them play. I talked before, and you're going to see them on my show here Friday. I got to play Luke Johnson when he was 13, and that wasn't a fun experience. But
neither was Derek King, let me tell you.
But no, that is the thing, is that there's so many good young players in the game as well now. Like, even take his Dalton McClem, with how he's come on, and I now realize, watching Florida from the ACL there in January, that he's only 17. So I again seen him when he was only 15, and I thought he was way older then. Now there's so many good kids that are just,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They put the time in, and they don't have that little nerve issue that, you start getting a little bit older, you have that little nervous condition going on. These guys don't care. At the end of the day, they got a million other things going on in their life. And I think that's really helped them to kind of catapult a little bit quicker than we did back in the day, basically.
So I guess to bring that in now is now you're playing in all big events. So do you still get nervous playing those big events? And if you do, how do you kind of deal with those nerves?
Drink a beer. No, I do actually. I always I don't drink when I play ever, because if I did, this wouldn't be very good. But yeah, I get nervous. Absolutely. I get nervous. I get nervous jitters in my stomach, and I'm like, take a deep breath. I have one beer, and then I'm okay after that. Definitely. And even sometimes playing during the match, if you're in a heated match, you still get nervous because if you miss the bag, you're toast. So even during the match, you still get nervous. But yeah, absolutely.
Get the
drink a beer and try to calm your nerves a little bit. That's what I do.
You get nervous, so you still get the jittery knees. And something I noticed, it's kind of how you learn to control that nervous condition. Where I basically take myself to another place. I practice, or when I throw, I try to throw how I practice. I put myself in that setting. So that's how I deal with it. But I noticed something years and years ago that I just got totally burned out of the game. I just had no desire to play, walked away for a while. Got back in, and I noticed that, and basically because that nervousness was disappeared, and I didn't have it anymore. I was just there. That is part of why you're there. That nervous, that excitement. It's excitement. It's not just nerves. It's right. Excitement. So learn to harness that, and don't let that go away, because that is what brings you there. It's just learn to work with it.
Now you saying that there. The question I'll ask you is, did you play other sports before getting into cornhole? Because talking with some other people, Timothy Pitcher had basketball, Christine Papke was a runner. It's almost like they bring that to get that competitive edge back in that they were missing when they stopped playing a sport.
I played softball for 16 years. I played shortstop for 16 years.
An athlete.
And I played basketball, but then I hurt myself, hurt my knee, had 5 knee surgeries, and then I had to stop. And cornhole makes, even though the way I throw it still kind of hurts me every now and then, but it did bring back I'm an athlete, I'm a competitive person, so cornhole obviously is much easier sport to play versus having to run bases and so on. So
on your body.
Yeah, on my body. But it's not hard on my body, other than my knee being back there. It bothers me every now and then. I'm good now.
To me, just baseball. In school I played baseball.
You two shouldn't play anything else.
Played, and something that can reach out to you guys in Canada. I used to play hockey a lot when I was young, but I just wasn't really big enough to do anything with it. We just go play some fun. We had a rink right up, probably not even a mile from the house, and we'd go ice skating. And on certain nights or certain days, we could go up there and play some open hockey. So, and I love that game, but nothing's really organized.
Well, then I'll have to say that if you still want to play, we're trying to put an Octane cornhole team together to play in an adult fun tournament. So maybe we have to come up here if things actually do get better for the winter.
There you go.
Hey, I can skate, man. It might take me a while to get back and get the skates back on.
I gotta see that. We tried to take the kids ice skating, and none of us could skate.
It wasn't. No, it actually. No, it pissed me off because they said, we're going to have ice skating up here. We live in a small town, maybe 60, 200 people in our city, period. We're on the outskirts. We're in the country. Anyway, they said, we're going to have ice skating this over the winter. So we go, I was like, man, that sounds cool. So we get up there, and I'm like, that ain't ice. I was thinking they were going to pour it I was like, man, it's not cold enough. What are they going to do? They have that damn plastic crap up there, that real thick plastic crap. I'm like, well, I've never been on it. Let me try this crap out. So I get on there, and your blades don't grab in. They don't grab the shit. My legs, I look like a damn Bambi, deer just now being born. My legs are flying. I'm like, yes.
Oh,
I was telling her, I was like, no, we're going ice skating now. I said, this isn't ice skating. And I noticed, they actually oil that crap. I was looking around, they have a little machine off to the side, looks like a little floor scrubber, and I see the mark, and I'm like, they put damn slick shit on here to make it worse.
Anyway, but
I have to say, I'm not a big fan of that stuff because I do work in a hockey rink, so I do the ice all myself, so I prefer the real stuff as well too. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
So getting back on into your channel here. So what are some of the things that you kind of worked on in some of your videos that people want to check out?
Again. Go ahead.
Some of the things that we've worked on through the videos, I believe.
Yeah, like what are some of the videos that you do have up there?
I think I started off kind of slow, but I'm trying to kind of stair step into things. I believe I started off with some practice routines, just some easy things that help me, stuff that I would do to kind of mix it up a little bit, give you some a different feel when you practice, especially if you do it by yourself. Tried to teach a little bit of the mental part and how you think about it, repetition. That's touched on in a video. And then I kind of go into a little bit more advanced, the positioning, stepping out, what you're trying to do with the bag. And we got more coming. The last one, I guess, I don't know if you've seen it, was the flat bag.
Yep.
So we did that. The wife really wanted to get that one out there. We had a lot of people asking, actually. They said, we love seeing how you guys hold the bags. It's so different, but you still achieve a good bag. But how do you get a flatter bag? And so that's why we address that.
Yeah, and after my attempt earlier today, I need to watch that video again as well too. So, but yeah, it's I've watched your videos. I know they've helped me out. I know some of the other people that I've kind of said, check out these videos because they're just, you're, like I said, you're kind of like the super couple. You do everything. You put out those tips and tricks, but it's just, it's people like you that people can go to, ask the questions, and because I've said, all cornhole people, if you think they're a pro or the top, they're just regular people that will just they have time for everybody because
absolutely,
they may look serious on the boards, but then you get them away from the boards and it's just there for fun.
A lot of them, yeah, and that's, hopefully it comes, right, mostly everybody, but hopefully it comes across real. We wanted it to come across like it's genuine and we're just trying to help. A lot of, there's a lot of players that they won't pass on certain types of things because they feel like, oh, I don't want to, we're pretty much letting it all. Everything that we think about, do, it's going to come out in videos if it hasn't already, just to try to help people.
Well, I'm under the understanding if you can get everyone playing better, it's going to make the game better because no one wants to be always winning that game 21-0. I'd rather have that 21-20 game where you're both throwing good. It's I don't want to be keeping another person down. Like let's help them. Let's keep them going. That's why we've had a couple of the pros come up, and it's they're helping people as they're playing. Like I've said before, like I played against Ryan Smith in a blind draw game. It's like, and that was the same 2018. So I'm coming down there just. You should be playing. I got Ryan Smith, who's like 2 feet away from me across the board, and he's helping me as I'm throwing. Like he's giving me tips because it's just that's kind of that nature of the cornhole player.
Absolutely. Right. You will always have people enjoy coming up to you, next to you, just to practice and throw bags next to you. And I'm always trying to help any way I can or explain or anything, always. I would never shun anybody away. we're always sitting there throwing back and forth with people. Like most of the time he goes to one end, I go to the other end, and then we're always throwing next to somebody else anyways. We're just practicing and palling around with people.
Absolutely.
So I know I've had my first encounter with the quote unquote ban here a couple months ago. Do you guys ever, does it seem surreal if people come up to you and start talking to you as if they know you because they've seen you on video?
Oh, it happens all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We had it, the tournament that we won in 17, we literally went across the mountains and we stopped at a Texas Roadhouse for dinner and to have a couple drinks. And we weren't in there not 2 minutes. We went up to the bar and sat down, and they literally brought people out of the back and said, that's them. They were just on the TV because they were just playing it there in the bar. So we've had that. We've been out to eat at restaurants, and even we're out where we're at, we've had people come up to us. But even at tournaments, yeah, people will come up and, introduce themselves. And I think it's really important that players, appreciate that and kind of reciprocate by, interacting with people rather than, which I've heard a few horror stories out there of players that just like shun people off. And I'm like, I can't imagine you doing that because these people are looking up to you in one way or another, either for some kind of tips or some kind of help, or just to say, hey, they think you might be famous, even though we don't look at it like that. I mean, we play damn cornhole. I don't consider that.
Exactly. I think here in my 40 shows here now that I've done, I think I've maybe had like 2 that people that have said, no, I don't want to do any of that. And I'm like, it's just, it's just talking. It's trying to help getting your stuff out there. But it's just, I guess it's just in some people's nature. But, yep. And speaking of nature, I know that you guys do a lot of stuff for charity. I've kind of seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So especially, I've seen your Make-A-Wish jerseys and that, because I know there's some people in my family who've benefited from Make-A-Wish, but just talk about some of your stuff that you've done with that.
We did a huge Make-A-Wish thing, and actually the Make-A-Wish tournament got canceled this year. Well, postponed, I should say, because of everything that's going on. We were in the middle of all the jersey stuff and helping Dave & Buster's and all that stuff. Last year when we got to go and we actually did that big raffle, we raised almost really close to $4,000. Mm-hmm. We were just shy of $4,000.
And we actually really something just kind of connected with us with that, with having the kids, and you just never know. Oh. And so we took that opportunity, and probably was just it's been a blessing just to be able to interact with that organization, with a company like Dave & Buster's that they are huge behind the Make-A-Wish. Oh, yeah. And just to let what we did on that tournament last year, we raised that money, and that tournament was in New York. We're in Indiana. We're about 12 to 13 hours from there. And they didn't expect us to come up there and just deliver that. They're like, oh, you can just mail that thing. We appreciate everything you've done. It's like, no, we're going to come up. We're going to come up and help out. Oh, you're going to play in the tournament, and try to win some money? It's like, no, we're just going to come up, and we're going to be a part of this event that you guys have and just support. So that's what we did. We took the family up, and it was just a nice little getaway and to interact with that event. Was really looking forward to doing it again. Unfortunately, right now it's postponed. But speaking of that, I asked the wife tonight. It's like, we need to do a little video because we've got a bunch of jerseys that, they have. We don't have them here. That were for that are just they can't get rid of. I'm like, we need to help push this to get rid of these jerseys, even though, you're not going to have the tournament, but it's going to be like a donation. So you're going to be seeing a little video coming out here kind of soon. We'll have our jerseys on, the new ones for this year. And hopefully, people will help support in that way, because just because this is going on, it doesn't mean that there's any less need out there.
Oh, it's almost that need is almost more, just because there's so much that you want to have done, you had planned to have done, that you can't do.
Yep. So so we're gonna try to get behind that again, and hopefully later this year we'll be able to to have that event anyhow. If not, next year. But we look forward to doing a lot more with the Make-A-Wish for sure.
Absolutely.
I know I seen you had the jerseys for sale there, and I seen a little disappointed you're sold out of the 2XL ones, because that's me.
Yeah.
I think that may be almost all cornhole players, but it's just it's the cornhole community is just, you see so much stuff for charity,
all the time,
anything, and it's just the whole community just kind of, whenever something is needed, it just comes together.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, I think it's a great.
Even when you're at tournaments, there's always 50-50s and stuff for charities, and they're always giving away stuff, and they always come together. Always. They always raise a lot of money, even like just being at a tournament, they do. And all the online stuff. I mean, cornhole players are really great people, and they're very giving. That's for sure. Especially when they get their more drinks down their system, then they're really giving.
Yeah, it's for me. It's just giving points away most of the time.
Or you give them a couple extra 50-50s.
You're appreciated for that.
But actually, you know what? It's kind of funny, because my regular partner, when his wife comes to watch us play, she starts laughing, because she says the more he drinks, the worse he plays. The more I drink, the better I play. So there's no happy medium for us. But
there's no drinking here.
No.
We drink, and it is just a nightmare.
It's not good. You think you're throwing good, but you're not. It's not good.
I seem to play when we're out camping together. I play better than if I'm playing in a regular tournament. For some, I've got no idea why, but it's just,
there's a lot of people out there. There's a bunch of top dogs that could sit there and drink the whole time and still be just as good. Us?
I don't know how they do it. Maybe it suppresses those nerves for you.
And that's what I always say is when I tell people is that you watch the people play on a lot, like on TV or whatever. But my favorite experience was in Cherokee at like 10:30 at night, watching a crew cup game of a bunch of, like, I think there was like Jay Dotson was playing, Brooks and Jamie Graham was playing, and just watching them having fun was that's was fun to watch.
Right?
They're fun to watch. Jay Dotson is fun to watch. Trevor Brooks, fun to watch. They got a lot of exciting people that bring spunk to the game.
Yeah.
But those crew cups bring it out even more.
And the crew cups are fun.
Mm-hmm.
The crew cups, the changing back and forth. And actually, you want to get good at your game, that's hard to do. Throw, back up, throw, back up. Those are rough.
Yeah, like I know we had, like I said, we had Bobby Sperry come up one time and Jack Shea come up. They somehow got partnered together in a crew cup. We had another Matt Plow, who's one of our top players, and then me. I think I was just a throw-in on that crew cup team, and I lucked my way to the final. But it was just, it's the new people coming in. They have totally no idea of a crew cup game, but then they play it, and then we want to play it all the time, because it's just, there's so much more trash talk and fun in a crew cup game. That, it's fun.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
But so we're coming up. We got about 10 minutes left here. What would be your top tips or suggestions for like, we kind of talked with new players come in, but if they want to get to that next level and they wanted to maybe get into an advanced, into a almost a pro situation, because I know for here, I can sit and watch our advanced division. We've got about 10 players here who we can play. But my favorite thing here is our competitive division has about 20, 25 players that can make that next step, or they can all win that tournament. So what would be them to take that next step? what would be your top tip for someone to make that next step?
I would say when you're winning consistently. When you're winning, if you start social and you start beating social consistently, then I think it's time to move to the next, and so on. When you could do it consistently. In this game, you have to be consistent. I mean, you could be fire one day and super bad the next day. You have to be able to be consistent. So when you start doing it consistently over and over, it's time to go to the next level, because you're not going to get anything from it if you stay. That's just the way I would think about it. I mean, that's my thoughts.
No, absolutely. No, you don't want to, because you don't want to stay down. I mean, you're going to have these different levels.
It'd be like staying in T-ball.
Okay. Whether you may have an A division, we'll use just like A division, like baseball or whatever. You may have that division forever, and it may even have players that are in there forever. The same guys. They may never make it, because not everybody has the ability. It's just the way it is. We aren't. It's a guy brought that to my attention many years ago. He owned several bars, and he had pool tournaments, dart tournaments, and then introduced cornhole tournaments into it. And he goes, one thing, and as cornhole died off quickly in this area, because there was only a handful of people that kept beating up everybody, the guys that came out just to have a good time and drink, they went away. And he's like, he goes, I knew it would happen. He goes, I watched it in darts, I've watched it in pool. And he goes, and I didn't correct it. And he goes, I should have made sure I kept everybody separate, and then watch them in those, when they're beaten, same person beaten, then there's something you need to move up. You need to have something in place to do that, or you're going to kill it off. So you, in your area, it's something you need to be ahead of the game and watching, because you're going to have players that are just not only the new ones coming in, but ones that they don't care. They don't want to travel. They don't want to go out. They're not worried about that. They're a little bit competitive, but they just want to have a good time.
Right.
So, and beyond, to believe it or not, there's more of them than there are of us.
Right.
So make sure you protect that area of the game for your new people and the people that want to stay there, and you'll grow and you'll be very successful if you do that.
Yep. I know I laugh at our league nights because my regular partner Corey, he's the type of guy that he really doesn't care. He was our top player here, and it frustrated the heck out of all the other players that were trying to be the best, because he'd always say, I'm just here for fun. I don't care. I'm here for fun. But he was always on the board. He was that consistent guy, but he was just like, I'm having a night out. When you got to a tournament, he would care, but the league night, he was like, his dad would come out and play, and he's like, we're just having fun. I'm just here for fun, and he's always winning, and it would just frustrate the other guys so much that he just didn't care,
Oh, I'm sure.
Right. Oh, I'm sure.
And that's the way, so it's like, for me, I have fun. I'm still down the bottom, but it's like, what? It's that night out. It's just having fun with some other new people. So, question from Trevor here is talking about that consistent. What's the best way to try and stay consistent? I know that's $1 million question. If everyone could have that, we'd all be pro. It's just
right.
That's how to stay consistent.
I'm gonna have to say a couple of things. I want to say, one, the practice for one. You're gonna have to practice, okay? And for me, I can only speak for myself, and I think most players do it. Especially watch some of your top players, and you watch a lot of them do the same thing every single time.
Yeah.
Every time. I probably go to extreme. I do it from arranging my bags, picking my bags, smacking my bags, stepping in the box. I do everything the same.
I do.
It's just, I think part of that consistency is keeping that consistent. That repetition will help, and it create that body motion of that same thing every time.
Every time.
So, and focus on
lots
that.
of practice.
And if you don't do that, I think I mentioned this in a video, if you find yourself straying, especially if you're practicing, even with somebody or by yourself, And I still do it. If I practice and I throw a bad bag and I can relate it to, okay, I'm throwing, but I'm thinking about, because I practice a lot at work, something I got to do at work or something at home, I will literally go back down, grab that bag, come back and throw it and think about what I'm doing. Force myself to think about the hole, the bag, or what the shot that I'm trying to make. And making sure you focus, that should help tie that consistency together.
Yeah, I know, and I hate it because I know that is my problem. Because when I start getting off, I'll change something up. I'll either go from standing to a step or back to standing. And you know what? I like
it's got to be the same.
But I change it all the time. I was like, I got to fix something. I got to do. I seen the way Baldwin holds his bag. I got to hold it that way, and I got to try that. And it never works.
You got to do what is ever comfortable for you. Everybody throws so different. Some people step. I used to step. I don't step anymore. I used to though. And now I'm talking, even everything that we do is the same. I'm talking about even our feet. Even our feet, when we go to step up, are on the same exact spot. I leave ruts. I leave ruts in the yard from my foot, because whenever I throw, my back of my foot twists like this every time. So every time my back foot leaves a mark in the grass or tears up the grass, it's all the same.
So it's okay to make adjustments, but those adjustments, for one, you got to know what you're adjusting. Two, they can't be huge. I mean, because trying to tweak something small, what you're trying to do with the board, is a big change isn't going to be. You've got to be able to make little changes, little adjustments. So changing from a step to standing,
that was rough.
That's huge.
I did that, and that was terrible for a very long time. That was the most frustrating experience ever.
Well, I found I get to times where I've changed 5 different things, and then you got to remember, okay, what was I doing at the beginning? Because you change yourself so much that you're done almost, But it's that whole mental game, right?
It absolutely is a mental game. And once you find out what works for you, stick to it and stay there and don't go back. Keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting.
Yeah, I keep always going back to something that Timothy Pitcher said, is that there's some people playing checkers and there's other people playing chess in this game, because it's just that whole game where you get people to say, I have to do an airmail all the time. Well, no, because people then realize that and think, I put that blocker up and that guy can't throw the airmail then, right?
Oh, yeah. There's so much to think about in this game, and Timothy is spot on. I mean, there's so much to think about. Sometimes, an airmail looks great, but it's not the right thing to do. If you start counting points, like we catch ourselves counting points in your head, and if you can't afford to miss an airmail, well, you got to rethink things. But even that goes back to our throws and consistencies. Our airmail throw is the exact same throw as our slide. Nothing changes. We just release a little bit higher. That's the only thing that changes. Our stance, our arm, everything is exactly the same except for a little bit higher.
That's it.
Yep.
So,
and I've actually got to say hello to my son here, who's actually watching for the first time in like 40 episodes. I'm not sure how he's actually done it. But he's 4 floors up. But so going with that changing thing, what is your thoughts on all this new virtual stuff? Because you got the deck rounds have been around for a while, and that the Ghost Cornhole was in, which the Ghost Cornhole, everyone has their opinion of it. I think it some players it hurts them, some players it doesn't. I know I had seen some players locally here who played it a lot, and I've actually seen their game start to drop a bit because they're not playing against anyone who's trying to defend them.
there's a couple different reasons why I'm like, I like to play just to get moving and going and be able to do it. Like right now, there's nothing else to do. However, here it's windier than hell 24/7. So when we're playing in 40-mile-an-hour winds while we're playing somebody that is playing in their garage. Now, do we normally mind playing in the wind? No, it is what it is. If everybody's playing in it, it's okay. But when you're playing with somebody that's in their house in their comfort zone, and we're over here throwing on 40-mile-an-hour winds, well, it don't matter who you are, you ain't gonna win.
Yeah.
It's kind of like practice, you know. I mean, it's
just practice more than anything.
I'm not a huge fan. I see getting out and throwing, it's a benefit, period. You know, you're going to get some practice in, you're going to get your repetitions in. So in that aspect, it's good. And there's a lot of other things that, and actually, we're probably going to come up with something like that. We're trying to make it right and help some charities with that ourselves, actually. But it's more, I think it's more of a fun type of thing to do. You can't even put it at the same level as playing against somebody like her, you know, or partners. It's not even close. So trying to do anything like ranking or this, I think it's just, I'm not sure what to say about it. Maybe a money grab. I don't know.
We've actually caught ourselves playing Ghost, but with each other.
Yeah,
we throw so that you're having somebody block you, or you're having a girl whacked out airmail or whatever the case. But he would always get 9, or most time he would get 9 anyways. But just to say, but you have somebody throwing against you, maybe a blocker, or maybe stuff the hole or something. But they still get 9. So that to us was a lot more practice. But we just did it just to practice.
Because I'm not sure if Trevor's still in the chat here, but he may have seen some of the guys in the league who were playing Ghost games. Like they would play Ghost like 8 hours a day, and then they get out to the league and they're used to that open board all the time. And then when you get that first bag, I'm throwing that blocker up because you're not used to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you haven't been airmailing, you haven't been doing anything.
I wouldn't do that as my number one source of like a practice. There's no way I would ever. If I wanted to get to the next level and stay there and go out and play tournaments like we do and we have.
Put blockers up on yourself.
It's okay to do that once in a while.
Yeah.
I would not do that all the time. I would make sure I have a practice routine that I am working on those other things, where those bags are in certain areas. I'm working on different shots, because you're not getting that type of practice out of, that virtual cornhole type of a game that's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's good for that consistency, right? But then you've also got to try and change it up sometimes as well too.
I mean, a lot of the times, in my opinion, it's always been a lot of the times what splits people is airmails. You could be a really good player, but you have no airmail at all, and that is just not going to work. And you definitely aren't practicing it when it comes to the Ghost thing, because, well, you shouldn't need one. So,
right.
I think a lot of players get split in different categories when it comes to having an airmail and not having an airmail. Even some of the better players, like way up there players, some of them don't have as good of an airmail. Most of them do at this time, but I think that some of the better players get split off a little bit when it comes to having a good airmail.
So mix it up. If you're playing that,
definitely got to
mix it up.
Yeah, so we'll kind of wrap things up here with. I know you've got some sponsors. I know you did a lot of stuff with Dave and Buster's. I think with the U.S. Cornhole, was starting up those Dave and Buster nights. I know we've heard a lot about them. I wish we had some more Dave and Buster's up here for us to have them up here as well too. But yeah, just do you have any other sponsors that you guys have that help you out?
So I'm not sure what was the question?
If we have sponsors.
Well, just like, I know you have Dave and Buster's that gets the sponsors. Do you have any other sponsors that you guys that have to help you out?
That help us out?
Yeah.
As of right now, not really. I mean, we did one of our partners, basically Pat Ward out of New York, which we are basically partners with U.S. Cornhole. He was one of our sponsors through Ward Boards, which was another one of his companies, and we've combined them for the most part. We have, it's just so as far as other sponsors, no. I mean, right now we're pretty much kind of our own sponsor.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't really played like out there in a little bit. We are going to Spencer McKenzie's though, if you've ever heard of that one.
Yeah, I have. I got to watch. I think that's just a dream of mine to go out to be able to play in that right now. But I got to watch that last year, the final with that last year. But hoping to be able to watch more because I almost find it more fun listening to Rob Chismark commentate any games because you never know what he's actually going to say. But
I'm sure.
Right.
But he is the type of person that's in the game that makes it fun because you never know what he's going to say. He's able to make everyone laugh at all the time.
I like the loud, obnoxious people more so than the people who he probably may not feel that. I like watching people who are exciting, like Easy, Trevor Brooks, myself. I catch myself getting out of hand sometimes. I snack myself back into reality, but I'm loud and obnoxious. I like Matt and Brad's attitude. People like that. Jay Dotson. I love those kind of people. The people get excited. He's been doing it more. He's been getting in there a little bit more.
Keep it professional and a good sportsmanship. Absolutely. It's much more fun to watch something with excitement rather than like, a golf tournament where nobody does nothing. You said you don't have you don't have a golf course full of John Daly's anymore. You guys are all quiet,
Yeah, it's like even the guys in our local league, they all know that nothing frustrates me more than playing against someone who's got the earbuds in because it's just a silent game. I like that trash talk, that getting into it. My skill doesn't keep up with that, but I still like to just to have fun because that's, like I've always said, that makes what makes the game fun.
You gotta have fun. If you're not having fun anymore, you might as well walk away.
Well, it makes you think that some of those guys that do that don't deal with all that distraction going on around them. And see, as you pointed out, conditioned, know your players as well, because those players are doing that for a reason so they can focus because distraction, that's something to work on. I do different things in practicing where I'll stop in the middle of a throw. I'll be ready to throw and I'll stop. And because you're going to have that happen. People are they're going to smack talk.
People,
they're going to do
all
different
the time.
things. If they're being beat, they're going to do stuff. So you better be prepared for whatever's thrown at you to be able to still keep that focus.
That's how Jake Corley was on the show here. We were talking, and he said he puts his earbuds in, doesn't listen to anything when he's playing Rocky Rockwell to put Rocky off his game so Rocky can't talk.
When we went to one of the example of this, I wish I would have had a pair of headphones that day because I was really ready to kill somebody. So we were playing and we were doing pretty good. And a bunch of kids were just yapping and they were just talking, throwing food so the seagulls would come down in our game. They were being just the most obnoxious kids. I was like hyperventilating over this. Okay?
They had to stop.
I had to stop because I was so
and that was the
mad.
first year. That was first year of Wildwood because they started saying, "Oh, the honeymoon's over," because they started getting shaken a little bit because they were drunk, they were smack talking, throwing food,
and they were saying things that they shouldn't be saying. And then I'm over here getting an attitude, all mad, all ready to kill these little kids. And I had to calm down, take some drinks of water, because those are one of those days I wish I would listen to headphones. I can't get into the whole headphones and trying to throw thing. I've tried, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I'm not. I gotta have talking or some kind of interaction just to kind of keep me going.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to thank you guys for coming on. I want you to hold on the line here. Thank you for coming on. People down below, you see the link for their YouTube channel for US Cornhole. Give them a click on that. Check them out. And I know Ben's gonna probably give me heck here once we get done. Hit that subscribe button. It's on this side, so it's down over there. That's the subscribe button. Hit the like, and hopefully we're another 20% away to getting to another 100 subscribers. We'll do another draw and have some more fun. But yeah, hit the subscribe. Go to the US Cornhole YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe on that button. Give them some likes over there as well too on all their videos because they're great help. And again, just want to thank Jen, you and Steve for coming on and talking cornhole here.
Thanks
Because
for
really,
having us.
we're all kind of stuck in the house. There's really nothing else to do but just talk cornhole. And
No, I'm surprised we made it this far without our kids not coming out that many times.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Don't hesitate to reach out. We got plenty more videos coming. And anybody's got any thoughts, ideas, or things they want to see, send us a message.
Absolutely.
We'll
Any
work it
topics you want to see talked about, done, we're here for you.
Yep. And again, I want to thank Ben Coons, my cousin, for moderating here. Check out his YouTube channel, Canucks with Guitars. Any kind of music stuff you want to get into, well, it's mostly guitars, pedals, and all kind of other stuff for guitars. But check him out. Canucks with Guitars. He's on Sunday nights and Monday nights live. You'll see everyone. He's had people from Tracy Chapman's guitarist to Chris Cornell's person guitarist. So just check out his shows. And yeah, we'll see you Friday. We're going to have the Johnsons on, Luke and Ryan Johnson, talking cornhole as they head to SoCal Carolina this weekend for the first live after kind of coming back here. So check it out. I'll probably be online about Friday morning, 7 o'clock. Check it out. And yeah, so just, again, stay safe. Keep towing those virtual bags, having fun. And we'll see you next time on the Down and Back Live.
Thank you so much.
See ya.
Yep.